The ends of the iPhone 17 might be more curved than those of the iPhone 16. The backs of some iPhone 17 models may differ substantially from those of the iPhone 16 series, and if leaks are to be believed, the sides may also change. The frame of iPhone 17 series phones may connect to the rear panel with a slope instead of a step, according to a post made by leaker Fixed Focus Digital on the Chinese website Weibo. Although that description is based on a machine translation of Chinese text and is a little imprecise, it seems to hint that the frame's edge where it meets the rear will be more curved than on existing versions. Although it's uncertain how much more curved the iPhone 17 will be, a curved design would make it simpler to handle, hence this may be deemed an enhancement. Additionally, as Apple periodically employs different designs for Pro versions than the rest, we're not clear if this would apply to all iPhone 17 models or just some. In fact, we had previously heard that the iPhone 17 Pro and iPhone 17 Pro Max would use aluminum instead of titanium like the current versions, and that it will sport a huge camera bar across the rear that resembled the Pixel 9. Therefore, at least some iPhone 17 models may soon undergo significant design alterations. However, not all sources verify the latter allegation, and since the iPhone 17 is still a long way from its projected September arrival, we should also be wary of today's leak. These design revisions might simply be one of numerous prototypes, even if the information is genuine, and there's a strong chance Apple will alter its mind in the end. Next, the rumored iPhone SE 4 has been displayed in a video from all angles. For a long time, the internet has been packed with all kinds of leaks and rumors about the forthcoming iPhone SE 4, which will presumably be called iPhone 16e. A recent leak from Majin Buu official indicates the appearance, presumably, of this smartphone already in the video. Here's what we know. The video displays the device in a person's hands from all angles. While the phone's display is off, or maybe just a mold, we can tell that the front side resembles the iPhone 14 with a notch. However, the rear of the phone includes a new single camera design, which differentiates it from the iPhone 14's dual camera configuration. This modification is likely due to an attempt to cut the cost of the smartphone, which is vital for a budget model like the iPhone SE 4. The iPhone 16e is also rumored to get Apple's first owned cellular modem, which could lessen reliance on third-party vendors and lower the price of the smartphone. Despite the rudimentary camera, the phone could contain 8 gigs of RAM, which will be vital for the artificial intelligence technologies that Apple could integrate in the smartphone. Stocks of the older iPhone SE model are reportedly already sold out internationally, hinting at the imminent arrival of its successor. iPhone SE 4 is turning out to be one of the most value-for-money iPhone until date as far as rumors are concerned. As Apple gets up to debut the iPhone 16 series in the coming weeks, leaks regarding the impending iPhone SE 4 are in full flow. Now, a fresh claim by Mac Rumors suggests that iPhone SE 4 will be more powerful than the iPhone 15. Until date, iPhone SE models have been built on older gen devices and are not known to be more powerful than the outgoing flagship models. iPhone SE 4 will most likely arrive with 8 gigs of RAM, up from 4 gigs of RAM in the iPhone SE 3 that made its debut in 2022. For context, iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 Plus include 6 gigs of RAM. The RAM bump on the iPhone SE is believed to be owing the hardware requirements of Apple Intelligence. For those who are unaware, Apple's suite of AI features that are planned to launch with iOS 18.1 require at least 8 gigs of RAM, and that is why only iPhone 15 Pro and iPhone 15 Pro Max are the only devices that run Apple Intelligence features as of now. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman strongly believes that iPhone SE 4, due to ship in early 2025, would contain Apple Intelligence. iPhone SE is believed to fall in the sub-$500 range, but it will still get greater RAM and Apple Intelligence. The unusual panel of the iPhone SE 4 is reported to resemble the future iPhone 16, and at the front, it may seem like an iPhone 14. It is also rumored to get an action button, a 18 chipset, USB-C port, Face ID instead of Touch ID, an Apple-designed 5G modem coupled with a larger OLED display. Again, Apple wants to replace all of the iPhone 17 models to feature its pricey OLED panels next year. All iPhone 17 models are projected to utilize the same LTPO panel technology as the current iPhone 16 Pro models, according to a Weibo leak from Digital Chat Station, a source known for providing accurate information. The ProMotion displays with variable refresh rates are made feasible by this technology. All iPhone 17 models will convert to ProMotion, as predicted by industry analysts including display supply chain specialist Ross Young. In September, Young speculated that Apple might implement ProMotion across its future smartphone portfolio. The iPhone 17 series may possibly receive further big upgrades, according to speculations. Rumor has claimed that the full iPhone 17 lineup would sport 24 megapixels front-facing cameras, which would double the resolution of previous variants. Additionally, the release of an Apple-designed Wi-Fi and Bluetooth chip is planned. It is vital to realize that the final product may differ from these details, which are based on rumors and leaks. On the other hand, if these improvements are applied, the iPhone 17 series will deliver considerable enhancements in both performance and display quality. Although I believe Apple's tried-and-true iPhone design needs a redesign, the concept of curved edges is still attractive. For more than 10 years, Sony sensors have been the only ones used in Apple cameras, but this could soon change. The iPhone 18 may forsake the Sony camera sensor in favor of a new 3-layer stacked one from Samsung, according to leaker Jukan Losriv. That supports some of Ming-Chi Kuo's earlier assertions. Jukan Losriv thinks that this 3-layer stacked image sensor is more advanced than Sony's Exmor RS, and he feels that it cannot be ruled out as a potential candidate for the main sensor. Crucially, though, they believe that this sensor is in addition to the anticipated 500 megapixels camera sensor purportedly coming to Galaxy phones in the future. The electronics are put directly on the back of stacked sensors. Presumably, a 3-layer stacked sensor would have 3 levels of electronics. They are meant to permit greater frame rates, boost low light performance, provide a faster readout speed, and decrease rolling shutter effects. When considered as a totality, those might drastically impair image quality. Last year, Kuo said that Samsung is anticipated to start supplying Apple with a 1/2.6-inch 48 megapixels ultra-wide CMOS picture sensor as early as 2026. It appears that the business has a specific crew to respond to Apple's needs, and most likely urge the business to fire Sony. It looks that the choice to switch to Samsung is not decided. Consequently, there is no assurance that Apple will terminate its long-standing connection with Sony, or even that Samsung will finally offer all of the camera hardware required for iPhone versions 18 and beyond. If Samsung and Sony are battling for Apple's sales, it might boost the company's bottom line. This is especially true when you consider that Samsung Galaxy phones routinely rank among our top camera phones. The launch of the iPhone 18 is still more than 18 months away, and a lot may change in that time. Even those elements are undetermined at this moment, and we're still only beginning to piece together what the iPhone 17 could have to offer. Therefore, we'll simply have to wait and see how this develops and whether Apple actually switches up its camera vendors in the future. It seems increasingly likely that the new Apple gadget will depart from the previous 6 years of design as more leaks and rumors about this year's iPhone 17 range arise. Mac Rumors observed the most recent design rumor that came on Weibo from poster Fixed Focus Digital. According to them, suppliers are executing a process overhaul in order to manufacture the iPhone 17, adopting new production techniques that should permit smoother transitions between various materials, similar as glass and aluminum. A translation indicates that FFD may employ a top-to-bottom splicing material. According to that description, there will be a more seamless transition between the camera array and the rear panel, which should be noticeable around the camera bump. The key point is that the connection area between the body's deco camera bump and the back cover is a slope rather than step, they noted. Nevertheless, it was hinted in November that Apple may be considering going back to aluminum for the Pro variants instead of titanium. According to sources, Apple aims to move away from the square camera array configuration and toward a more rectangular appearance, which some say may be an oversight on the company's part. According to leaked designs, the array will be more oval in shape rather than rectangular, but Apple might want to create a more smooth transition between the camera and the rear panel. We'll see the potentially dramatically redesigned phone later this year in mid-September if Apple maintains its typical timeline. In addition to being dull, there are other ways to undermine a camera bump's design. With reference to the previously mentioned hockey puck cameras, numerous large Chinese brands have developed some pretty unfavorable practices. Huge spherical cameras that fill the majority of the phone's rear. In addition to their dreadful appearance, laying your phone camera down on a table sets it at an angle so steep that it might be used as a Lilliput ski slope. Even Google, who looked to have hit gold with the design of the camera bar on the Pixel 7 and Pixel 8, screwed this wrong with the Pixel 9. More noticeable than a clown in the rainforest, the new camera bar is huge and clumsy. Even as I enjoy the upgrades Google made to the Pixel 9, the camera design needs to be changed. It's true that a Pro Max iPhone has a fairly big camera hump. Good cameras are rarely small, and there are a number of reasons why an iPhone's inner design might benefit from a full redesign of the camera module. All Apple needs to do is make sure it doesn't fail. Although Apple is aware of the hazards, I find it hard to understand why it would decide to mess with something positive and risk making a mistake. Furthermore, what would happen to the company's spatial video recording if it employs a horizontal camera layout? The goal of altering the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus's lens positioning was to align the two lenses for taking spatial video with the phone held horizontally. According to others, modifying the design kills it and would require all spatial video to be filmed vertically, which I find entirely repulsive. Despite its niche nature, especially given the disappointing reception of Apple Vision Pro spatial video, doesn't seem like the kind of product that Apple will jettison with readily. In the event that Apple decides to tweak the iPhone's design, it truly will. You and I are constrained in what we can do about that. It just looks like a waste of a genuinely attractive and useful design that helps the iPhone stand out in every scenario. That component is significant in a time when phones are viewed as status symbols on par with apparel. However, it's fairly simple to brush off change as being foreign and frightening, something Apple is likely all too familiar with. I'm sure they're taking it extremely seriously if the rumors are right and the iPhone 17 Pro will have a completely new look. So that's all we know for now. We'll be sure to keep you updated as soon as we have more information. Thanks for watching.